Good evening, everyone. I invite the dignitaries to the stage. First and foremost, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. David Boucher. Sir, I welcome to the stage. Ms. Bintu Nambishan. Mr. Farhan Yazin. Mr. Mubashir. Mr. K.M. Bashir. Captain Haridas, Mr. Lukman, Mr. Abdul Sharif, Mr. Hashim Ali, Dr. Pravita Esanchan, Dr. Naushif, and Dr. Naufal Bashir.
Good evening, all of you. Namaskaram. Aster Mims Calicut another milestone in the Paraya. Oru launching ceremony lekana in the Namalavio de Malabar Tourism Initiative. In the Kodirikana Orothrum, Kodikoda Anangilum, in Kodikoda Alengilum, Ipo Kodikodan. Proud to be a Kodikoda Garan, Alengil, proud to be a Malabar Garan in the Malabar. കാരണം നമ്മുടെ മലബാറിൻ്റെ ആ ഒരു പ്രാധാന്യം തന്നെയാണ്. എന്താണ് മലബാർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മലബാറിൻ്റെ ടൂറിസം സാധ്യതകൾ എത്രമാത്രമുണ്ട്, അത് മറ്റ് ലോകരാജ്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് എങ്ങനെ എത്തിക്കാം? ടൂറിസം എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആഭ്യന്തര ടൂറിസം മാത്രമല്ല, അതിൻ്റെ ഹെൽത്ത് കെയർ റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് മെഡിക്കൽ ടൂറിസം കണക്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റീവാണ് മലബാർ ടൂറിസം ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റീവിലൂടെ ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ ലോഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. സോ അതിനായി നമുക്കിവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന നമ്മുടെ ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റ് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അത് നമ്മുടെ വലിയൊരു അഭിമാനം തന്നെയാണ്. മിസ്റ്റർ ഡേവിഡ് ബൗച്ചർ, ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ചീഫ് ഓഫ് സർവീസ് എക്സലൻസ് ഇന്ത്യ ആൻഡ് GCC, ഓൺ എ സ്പെഷ്യൽ അസൈൻമെൻറ്റ് ഓഫ് നോർത്ത് കേരള ടൂറിസം പ്രൊമോഷൻ. നമ്മുടെ നോർത്ത് കേരള ടൂറിസം പ്രൊമോഷനായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു സ്പെഷ്യൽ അസൈൻമെൻറ്റുമായിട്ട് വന്നിരിക്കുകയാണ് മിസ്റ്റർ ഡേവിഡ് ബൗച്ചർ. ആൻഡ് ഈ ഒരു ഒഫീഷ്യൽ ലോഞ്ചിങ് സെറിമണിയിലേക്ക് ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്ന നിങ്ങൾ ഓരോരുത്തരെയും ഓൺ ബിഹാഫ് ഓഫ് ആസ്റ്റർ മീംസ് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ മലബാറിൻ്റെ ടൂറിസം സാധ്യതകൾ, മെഡിക്കൽ ടൂറിസം ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ അതല്ലാതെയുള്ള ആഭ്യന്തര ടൂറിസം സാധ്യതകൾ എത്രമാത്രമാണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എങ്ങനെ ഇംപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യാം എന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു ദിവസം ഈ ഒരു സെറിമണിയിലൂടെ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. സോ വൺസ് അഗെയിൻ ഇവിടെ കൂടിയിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവരെയും ഈ ഒരു മലബാർ ടൂറിസം ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റീവ് സെറിമണിയിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു.
Malabar, the land of spices, aroma, which attracts millions of tourists and had drawn traders across the world for centuries. The service and hospitality from the people of Malabar always add a sweet pinch of care towards the Malabar tourism and also to the medical tourism. With that, I once again invite everyone who are gathered here to today's function. First and foremost, I invite Mr. Lukman, Chief Operating Officer, to deliver the welcome speech. Over to you, sir.
Respected dignitaries, guests, colleagues, a warm good evening to one and all. A place is known for beautiful shorelines. A land is blessed with captivating artwork. A place is known for truth and honesty. A land, an integral part of our own God's own country. That is all about North Kerala, Malabar region. During 14th and 15th century, Malabar region was the hot spot for travelers and traders, as it has played a major role in leading Indian Ocean network trade. It was the most preferred destination for traders and travelers across the globe. Now, things have changed. Scenario is totally different. Now, somewhere we have lost leadership in trade and tourism. With the outbreak of COVID-19, almost all sectors had come to a standstill mode. All sectors, including healthcare, tourism, were adversely affected. Now, COVID is under control, things are moving on. All sectors are open except tourism sector. Both medical and public tourism sector, which were badly hit during the pandemic, still not been recovered, and the situation was not so rosy during pre-COVID period. We feel the time is ripe for us to act to rejuvenate the tourism sector. All other industries, be it travel, hospitality, shopping establishments, whatever, is closely connected with tourism one way or other. So it is very important to put the system back on track, which would be beneficial for all industries. At this crucial point of time, our beloved chairman, Dr. Azad Moopen, has thought of reclaiming the lost of heritage of Malabar region in terms of tourism and come out with a project reinventing Malabar tourism, interconnecting health and private sector hand in hand. That thought brings our chief guest here, David Boucher. He is here with us on a special assignment to promote Malabar tourism through his connections and networks of people and organizations in UK, Europe, Middle East and Asian countries. It is learned that he has got a comprehensive map route such as road shows, summits, digital campaign in his wallet to make this Malabar region once again as the most preferred destination for travelers and tourists. I am moving on to my prime responsibility to welcome all our guests to this function. So let me start with our chief guest. I deem it my proud privilege to welcome our chief guest, Mr. David Boucher, Group Chief of Service Excellence in India and GCC countries, DM Healthcare, to this function. So it's a great honor for us having you with us this evening. Welcome to this function, sir. Next, may I welcome a dynamic leader. Needless to introduce you, Sri Farhan Yasin, Regional Director of Kerala and Oman Cluster, who is presiding over the meeting today. He has been driving force for all the activities, progress that take place in Aster Cluster. He has been inspiration for all of us. Warm welcome to our Regional Director, Sri Farhan Yasin. Next, I welcome Sri MPM Mubashir, Executive Director, Al Hind Group of Companies, and President, Malabar Tourism Society, and he also officiating Vice President of Malabar Chamber of Commerce. He has been in the travel and tourism industry for more than 2 decades. He has been instrumental for many transformations in the tourism industry. MTS, under his leadership, aims to develop, market, and project unexplored places in this northern part of Kerala. So warm welcome to our program, sir. You must be heard of Malabar Development Forum. That forum with motto, together towards the development of Malabar region. That forum is working hard for overall development of the state in general and Malabar region in particular. This organization, under the dynamic leadership of K.M. Boucher, is actively involved in resolving many issues in education, tourism, healthcare, infrastructure, etc. MDF has sought for special packages and projects for the comprehensive development of the Malabar region. That includes development of Calicut International Airport, widening of roads and bridges, revival of water, travel mart, and water transport, etc. Today also, I came to know that MDF people, MDF office bearers has met our minister to extend KSRTC service from airport to Kasaragod. Am I correct, sir? So I welcome Mr. Bashir KM to this function. Next, our own KK Haridas, Captain KK Haridas. Currently, he is the Vice President of Malabar Tourism Society and the State Joint Secretary of Confederation of Kerala Tourism Industry. Captain has served 15 years in various naval ships and establishments in India and abroad. On last Sunday, I was fortunate to take part in the Heritage Walk organized by District Tourism Promotion Council, under the leadership of Captain. He took us, we were around 100 people, he took us to around 10 places, 10 historical places within the 2 to 3 kilometer radius of Calicut beach zone. It was a wonderful learning experience for me, though I belong to this place. He is very passionate about tourism and tourism development, and I would like to welcome Captain KK Haridas to this function. I also welcome Engineer Hashim Ali, TPM, convener of Calicut Management Association. He has also been working hard for the overall development of the Malabar region. I welcome you, sir, for this function. Next, our guest is Abdul Sharif B. Basi. You may be knowing him. He's a travel teacher and ESL trainer. In his absence, I also welcome him to the function. He will be reaching here within couple of minutes. For the sake of proceedings, I also welcome Ms. Bindu Nambishan, Head of Service Excellence and Learning and Leadership Development of DM Healthcare, who is going to introduce our chief guest today. I also welcome Dr. Naushiv, Senior Consultant, Department of Gastrosurgery and Liver Transplant, and Dr. Pravita, Assistant General Manager, Aster Mims Calicut. Both will be updating us on medical tourism today. Let me welcome my dear friends who are associated with various press media, etc. to this function, various press medias to this function. I think media can do a lot in promotion of tourism in Malabar region. Last but not least, I also welcome representatives of various organizations working in tourism sector to this launching ceremony. With that, I conclude welcoming all of you to the launch of Malabar Tourism Initiative with immense pleasure and utmost contentment. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Mr. Boucher, President Malabar Tourism Society, for giving the introduction of Malabar Tourism Society.
Chairman of this function, Mr. Farhan. Chief guest of this evening, Mr. David Boucher. I asked Mr. David, how do you pronounce your name? David Boucher or Boucher? Because everyone calls him Boucher. He said, no, it's Boucher. Right? Okay. So, other dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, my fellow members of MTS, members of other organizations, a very good evening to all of you. Today, I'm happy that Malabar Tourism Society is moving with the Malabar Tourism Initiative, mainly promoting medical tourism in this region. I'll just give you a brief of Malabar Tourism Society or MTS. This is first of its kind in Kerala. That's one platform having all travel related segments in one under one umbrella. So it was started 2 years back, but unfortunately most of the time we could not do anything because of the pandemic situation. The Malabar Tourism Society is an initiative constituted to promote tourism in Malabar, the northern Kerala region, known for its uniqueness in history, culture, heritage, natural beauty and hospitality. Malabar Tourism Society brings all tourism-related service providers under one umbrella to work for the development of tourism in Malabar and to promote jointly the unexplored destinations of Malabar region. The society aims to bridge and develop the various tourism segments like tour operators, travel agencies, hoteliers, resorters, hospitals, Ayurveda centers, homestays, airlines, transport services and waterways tourism in the northern Kerala region. The objective of the society is also to act as promoters and developers of tourism related activities like Malabar Travel Mart. We are planning to have a Malabar Travel Mart like KTM in Calicut next year. So we need the support of all other organizations for that. Apart from promoting the existing tourist spots and exploring virgin destinations, the Malabar Tourism Society will host programs and bring initiatives for all the 6 districts. The MTS mission spreads from Palakkad, the southeastern district in Malabar region, to Kasaragod, its north. The society would take imaginative steps supported by innovative ideas to give a new and effective orientation to tourism activities in the wonderful destinations of 6 districts including Palakkad, Malappuram, Wayanad, Kozhikode, Kannur and Kasaragod. Actually the Malabar region consists of 6 districts and we are going to spread our activities in other districts also. We are just started in Calicut and a few members are in Wayanad also and Malappuram and we'll be spreading out to other 6 districts. Now I don't want to take much of your time. There are so many people to speak. And thanks for the invitation. And Farhan, thanks for associating us with your new initiative. And we will go ahead with, all together, and we can do a lot of things in Malabar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I invite Mr. K.M. Boucher, President, Malabar Development Forum, Central Committee, Calicut, to talk on the overall development of North Malabar region. Over to you, sir.
കോഴിക്കോടിൻ്റെ ഹൃദയത്ത് ഇന്ന് നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു ചരിത്ര പ്രാധാന്യമേറിയ ഒരു കോൺഫറൻസാണിത്. ഇതിൽ മുഖ്യാതിഥിയായി എത്തിയ ഡേവിഡ് ബൗച്ചർ, താങ്കൾക്ക് കോഴിക്കോടിൻ്റെ ഹാർദവമായ സ്വാഗതം. താങ്കൾക്ക് കേരളവുമായി ഞങ്ങളുടെ ടൂറിസം മേഖലയെക്കുറിച്ച് പഠിക്കാൻ ഇവിടെ എത്തിയ താങ്കൾക്കൊരു ബിഗ് സല്യൂട്ട് നൽകാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുകയാണ് ബിഹാഫ് ഓഫ് മലബാർ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് ഫോറം. ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസ് കേരളത്തിൽ മാത്രമല്ല ലോകത്തെമ്പാടും അതിൻ്റെ മേഖല വ്യാപിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കെ ഒരു പ്രദേശത്തിൻ്റെ, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും മലബാറിൻ്റെ ടൂറിസവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട വികസനത്തിന് ശക്തി പകരാൻ രംഗത്ത് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇത് തീർച്ചയായും നമ്മെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം, വികസനത്തിന് വേണ്ടി പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന സമൂഹത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം, ഒരു ആക്ടിവിസ്റ്റുകളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം, സാമൂഹ്യ പ്രവർത്തകരെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഒരു നല്ല ശുഭവാർത്തയാണ്. ആശുപത്രികൾ ചികിത്സാ മേഖലയിലും മറ്റും മാത്രം ശ്രദ്ധ കേന്ദ്രീകരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു വ്യവസായവൽക്കരണം, ഒരു ബിസിനസ് മാത്രം അതിലേക്ക് മാത്രം ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് മേഖലയെ വിപുലപ്പെടുത്തുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ സ്പന്ദനങ്ങളെ പ്രത്യേകം മനസ്സിലാക്കി നാടിൻ്റെ വികസനം, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും ടൂറിസം മേഖലയിലേക്ക് ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസ് മുന്നിട്ടിറങ്ങിയിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇത് മാതൃകാപരമാണ്, അഭിനന്ദിക്കാൻ വാക്കുകളില്ല. ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസിൻ്റെ ശക്തനായ നായകൻ ഫർഹാൻ യാസീൻ, എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്ത്, അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ബിഗ് സല്യൂട്ട് നൽകി ആദരിക്കാൻ ഞാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കാൽ വെച്ചതോടുകൂടി കേരളത്തിലും GCC, അതായത് ഒമാൻ അടക്കമുള്ള പ്രദേശങ്ങളിലും ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസ് ഒരുപാട് ഡെവലപ്പായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസ് ഒരു സ്വകാര്യ ആശുപത്രി ആണെങ്കിൽ പോലും ഒരു സാധാരണക്കാരനെ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ ആശുപത്രിയായി മാറി. ഞാൻ അവിടുത്തെ എൻ്റെ ജീവിതം തിരിച്ചു കിട്ടിയത് പോലും ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസിൻ്റെ ശക്തരായ ഡോക്ടർമാരെ കൊണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഈ കോവിഡ് സീസണിൽ. അതുകൂടി ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ ഓർക്കുകയാണ്. മലബാറിൽ നിരവധി റിസോഴ്സസ് ഉണ്ട്, ഒട്ടേറെ ടൂറിസം റിസോഴ്സസ്, അതുപോലെ വളരെ ഭംഗിയുള്ള എയർപിൻ വളവുകൾ ഉള്ള ഒരുപാട് മൗണ്ടൻസ്, വാട്ടർ റിസോഴ്സസ്, എല്ലാം കൊണ്ടും അനുഗ്രഹീതമായ മലബാറിൽ വേണ്ടത്ര വികസനം ഇന്നേ വരെ എത്തിയിട്ടില്ല എന്നതാണ് ദുഃഖകരമായ ഒരു കാഴ്ച. ഏതാനും മണിക്കൂർ മുമ്പ്, ഒരു 40 മണിക്കൂർ മുമ്പ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ടീം 60 കിലോമീറ്ററോളം ബേപ്പൂരിൻ്റെയും അതുപോലെ ഫറൂഖിൻ്റെയും മലപ്പുറത്തിൻ്റെയും കോഴിക്കോടിൻ്റെയും ഗ്രാമങ്ങളും തീരങ്ങളും പുഴത്തീരങ്ങളും എല്ലാം സന്ദർശിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. നിരവധി ട്രഡീഷണൽ പോർട്ട്സ്, നമ്മൾ കടവുകൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ട്രഡീഷണൽ പോർട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ നേരിട്ട് സന്ദർശിച്ചു. ഒരു കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ ചരക്ക് നീക്കങ്ങളും ജലസഞ്ചാരവും വളരെ ശക്തമായി നടന്നിരുന്ന ഈ മേഖലകളെല്ലാം ഇന്ന് അടഞ്ഞിരിക്കുകയാണ്. വളരെ വേദനാജനകമാണ്. ഏതാണ്ട് 20ഓളം പോയിന്റുകളാണ് ഇന്നലെ ഞങ്ങൾ സന്ദർശിച്ചത്, മലപ്പുറത്തിനും കോഴിക്കോടും ഇടയ്ക്ക്. ഫറൂഖ്, പരുത്തിപ്പാറ, മൂർക്കനാട്, പൊന്നാമ്പാടം, മുലപ്പുറം, പൊറ്റേക്കടവ്, മണക്കടവ്, ഈ പ്രദേശങ്ങളെല്ലാം പ്രകൃതി എത്രയോ അനുഗ്രഹിച്ച ഭംഗിയുള്ള പ്രദേശങ്ങൾ. ഒരുപാട് റിസോഴ്സസ് ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാരിനോട്, കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിനോടെല്ലാം ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിരവധി തവണ അറിയിച്ചിട്ടും വേണ്ടത്ര സപ്പോർട്ടോ സഹകരണങ്ങളോ ലഭ്യമായിട്ടില്ല എന്നതാണ് ഖേദകരം. ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ പ്രിയങ്കരനായ മന്ത്രി മുഹമ്മദ് റിയാസുമായി ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം വിശകലനം ചെയ്തു. ഒരുപാട് മാറ്റങ്ങൾ കാത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ടൂറിസം വികസിക്കണം. നമുക്കൊരു ശക്തമായ വിമാനത്താവളമുണ്ട്. ഒരു പഴക്കം ചെന്ന, ഏതാണ്ട് 2000ഓളം വർഷം പഴക്കം ചെന്ന ബേപ്പൂർ തുറമുഖമുണ്ട്. ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഒരു കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ 2ാം സ്ഥാനത്തായിരുന്ന ബേപ്പൂർ തുറമുഖം, 1ാം സ്ഥാനം മുംബൈ ആയിരുന്നു, 2ാം സ്ഥാനത്തായിരുന്ന ബേപ്പൂർ തുറമുഖം ഇന്ന് ചരിത്രത്തിൽ നിന്ന് മറഞ്ഞു പോകാനിരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മളെല്ലാം അതിനുവേണ്ടി രംഗത്തിറങ്ങുകയും അതിനിടയിൽ കോഴിക്കോടിനൊരു ശക്തനായ മന്ത്രി ബേപ്പൂർ MLA മുഹമ്മദ് റിയാസ് രംഗപ്രവേശനം ചെയ്യുകയും ഇപ്പോൾ അതൊരു മിനി ദുബായ് പോർട്ട് DP വേൾഡിൻ്റെ മാതൃകയിൽ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള നീക്കവുമായി സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാർ മുന്നോട്ടിറങ്ങി എന്ന വാർത്തകൾ നമുക്ക് ലഭ്യമായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങളും ഈ നാടിൻ്റെ മുഖച്ഛായ മാറാൻ തന്നെ അവസരമൊരുക്കും. അതുപോലെ ക്രൂ ചേഞ്ചിങ് പോലുള്ള സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ ബേപ്പൂരിലെത്തണം. കരിപ്പൂർ വിമാനത്താവളത്തിൽ എല്ലാ സാധ്യതകളുമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അതിനെ തകർക്കുക എന്ന ലക്ഷ്യവുമായി ചില ശക്തികൾ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നു. അതിനെതിരായാണ് നമ്മൾ ശക്തമായി മലബാർ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് ഫോറം ശക്തമായി പ്രവർത്തിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. നിർഭാഗ്യവശാൽ 2020 ഓഗസ്റ്റ് 7 രാത്രി 7:41 കോഡ് സിയിൽപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ചെറുവിമാനം തകർന്നപ്പോൾ യാതൊരു കാരണമില്ലാതെ വൈറ്റ് ബോഡി സർവീസ് അവിടെ നിർത്തി. അന്ന് തന്നെ നമ്മൾ വ്യക്തമായി പറഞ്ഞു പൈലറ്റിൻ്റെ മിസ്റ്റേക്കാണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അതുതന്നെ 100% പൈലറ്റിൻ്റെ അയോഗ്യത കൊണ്ടാണ് 2012 മുതൽ അയോഗ്യനായ പൈലറ്റാണെന്ന് വിമാനം പറത്തിയതെന്ന് റിപ്പോർട്ടിലും വ്യക്തമായപ്പെട്ടു. എന്നിട്ടും ഇവിടെ വൈറ്റ് ബോഡി സസ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. മലബാർ പ്രദേശത്ത് ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് പ്രവാസികൾ യാത്ര ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു മേഖലയാണ് മലബാർ പ്രദേശം. ഇന്ത്യയിൽ വരുന്ന വിദേശ നാണ്യങ്ങളുടെ 80% മലബാറിലെ പ്രവാസികളും മലബാർ പ്രദേശത്തേക്കുമാണ്. മലബാറിലെ പ്രവാസികളുടെ ശക്തമായ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടാണ് സാമ്പത്തിക മാന്ദ്യത്തിൽ ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ രാഷ്ട്രങ്ങളും പാശ്ചാത്യ രാജ്യങ്ങളും സാമ്രാജ്യത്വ ശക്തികളും മുട്ടുകുത്തി വീണപ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യ ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ മുമ്പിൽ ശക്തിയോടെ നിലകൊള്ളാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞത് പ്രവാസികളുടെ വിദേശ നാണ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ശക്തി കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ്. അത് മലബാറിലെ പ്രവാസികളെന്ന് ഞാൻ അഹങ്കാരത്തോടെ പറയുന്നു. എന്നിട്ടും മലബാറിലെ പ്രവാസികളുടെയും മലബാറിൻ്റെയും ആശാകേന്ദ്രമായ കരിപ്പൂരിനെയും ബേപ്പൂർ തുറമുഖത്തെയെല്ലാം അതിനെ വളർത്താൻ നമ്മുടെ പൂർവികന്മാരോ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ബുദ്ധിശാലികളായ ശക്തരായ വിദ്യാസമ്പന്നരായ ജനപ്രതിനിധികൾ രംഗത്ത് വന്നില്ല. അതിനെതിരായാണ് നമ്മൾ ശബ്ദിക്കുന്നത്. നാട് വികസിക്കണം. ഒരുപാട് സാധ്യതകൾ നമ്മുടെ മലബാറിനുണ്ട്. ആശുപത്രി മേഖലകൾ, അതുപോലെ ടൂറിസം മേഖലകൾ, മറ്റു കണക്ടിവിറ്റി. 1 മണിക്കൂർ യാത്ര ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ 1 മണിക്കൂർ ദൂരത്തേക്ക് യാത്ര ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ എത്ര മണിക്കൂർ റോഡിൽ ബ്ലോക്കിൽ കിടക്കേണ്ട ഗതികേടാണ്. ഇന്നലെ ഈ റോഡുകളിൽ കല്ലായി ഭാഗങ്ങളിലും കോഴിക്കോട് ടൗണിലുള്ള ട്രാഫിക് ബ്ലോക്ക്. നല്ല സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡുള്ള റോഡ് കണക്ടിവിറ്റി സ്ഥാപിക്കണം. ഇതിനെല്ലാമാണ് നാം ഒറ്റക്കെട്ടായി ഈ ടൂറിസത്തിൻ്റെ വികസനത്തോടൊപ്പം ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കണക്ടിവിറ്റിക്ക് വേണ്ടി ശക്തമായ ഒരുപാട് മാറ്റങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ ഒറ്റക്കെട്ടായി പ്രവർത്തിക്കണം. അതിനായി ഈ മലബാർ ടൂറിസം ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റീവ് എന്ന പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിന് എല്ലാവിധ ഭാവങ്ങളും ശക്തിയും പിന്തുണയും മലബാർ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് ഫോറം നൽകുകയാണ്. എല്ലാം കൊണ്ടും അനുഗ്രഹീതരായ ലോകത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും സമ്പന്നരായ ബുദ്ധിമാന്മാരായ ബുദ്ധിശാലികളായ മനസ്സ് ശുദ്ധിയുള്ള പൗരന്മാരാണ് മലബാറുകാരും കേരളക്കാരും ഇന്ത്യക്കാരും, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും എസ്പെഷ്യലി മലയാളികൾ. ലോകത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ബുദ്ധിജീവികളെ എക്സ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതും നമ്മുടെ മേഖലയിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ എന്നാണ് കണക്കുകൾ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്. അമേരിക്കയിലെ വൈറ്റ് ഹൗസ്, അതുപോലെ ബോയിങ് വിമാന കമ്പനിയുടെ ആസ്ഥാനമായ ബോയിങ് വിമാന കമ്പനിയുടെ ടെക്നിക്കൽ ഡാറ്റ മാനേജർ സെബാസ്റ്റ്യൻ ലെവീനയുടെ മുഖ്യ ഉപദേഷ്ടാവ് വരെ മലയാളികളുടെ സാന്നിധ്യമാണ്. ജർമ്മനിയിൽ മെർസിഡീസ് ബെൻസിൻ്റെ ഡിസൈനിൽ പ്രധാനികൾ കോഴിക്കോട് സ്വദേശികളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ മലയാളികൾ എവിടെയാണ്? ഉത്ബുദ്ധരാണ്. പക്ഷേ നമ്മുടെ നാട് അതിനനുസരിച്ച് വളരുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ദുഃഖകരം. ഇതിനെതിരെ ശക്തമായ ബോധവൽക്കരണം നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ ജനപ്രതിനിധികളെ പഠിപ്പിക്കണം, പാഠം പഠിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കണം. നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ വികസനവും മുന്നേറ്റവും ഇവരെല്ലാം ശരിക്കും ബോധവൽക്കരണത്തിലൂടെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു കൊടുത്താലേ മതിയാവൂ. ഇത്രയും നല്ലൊരു ജനത, അത് നമ്മുടെ മിംസിൻ്റെ ചെയർമാൻ ആസാദ് മൂപ്പൻ തന്നെ അതിന് തെളിവാണ്. ഒരു സാധാരണ ഡോക്ടറായി ദുബൈയിലേക്ക് പോയി ഇന്ന് ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ മുമ്പിൽ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു മെഡിക്കൽ പ്രസ്ഥാനമായി ആസ്റ്റർ മിംസ് കമ്മിറ്റഡ്. ചികിത്സയിലൂടെ സമ്പാദിക്കുക എന്നതല്ല അവരുടെ ലക്ഷ്യം. അവർക്ക് ലഭ്യമാവുന്ന വിഹിതത്തിൽ വലിയൊരു ഭാഗം സമൂഹത്തിന് വേണ്ടി ചിലവഴിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. സമൂഹത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ ദുഃഖങ്ങളും വേദനകളും അവർ കണ്ട് ആത്മാർത്ഥമായി അതിൽ ഇൻവോൾവായി അതിന് വേണ്ട നടപടിക്രമങ്ങൾ, പാവപ്പെട്ടവന് സൗജന്യ ചികിത്സ മുതൽ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും. നമ്മുടെ ഇടയിലുള്ളൊരു മലയാളി ഇത്രയും വലിയൊരു സാമ്രാജ്യം പടുത്തുയർത്തി സമൂഹത്തിന് നന്മ പകരുന്നു. അവർക്ക് ഈ മലബാർ ടൂറിസം ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റീവ് എന്ന പ്രസ്ഥാനം വഴി കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ മുഖച്ഛായ, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും മലബാറിൻ്റെ മുഖച്ഛായ മാറ്റാൻ കഴിയട്ടെ. എല്ലാവിധ പിന്തുണയും പ്രാർത്ഥനകളും. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം, ജയ് ഹിന്ദ്.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. K.M. Bashir. And now I would like to invite Captain Haridas, Vice President CMA Malabar Tourism Society, for giving introduction of North Kerala tourism.
Chief guest of the day, Dr. Davis Boucher, Mr. Farhan, and other dignitaries on and off the dais. Wish you all a warm good evening. I'm really very happy to attend such a function, and I would like to appreciate Dr. Aster Mims for taking such an initiative. Dr. Boucher, this Kerala is, you know, the tagline of Kerala tourism is the God's own country. So because Kerala is so beautiful, and whoever is coming, they go soon. And the tagline for the Malabar is the place where the God holidays. So you can imagine the gods from everywhere is coming to Malabar. That is what the speciality of Malabar. And the term Malabar stands for around 6 districts of region. It itself shows, even if the Malabar region has been got split into different states or districts, but we still all like to call it Malabar. That is what the unity, religious harmony, and get-togetherness of Malabar. Malabar once upon a time was called the gateway of India. Initially from the Europeans and all, you know, they came in 1498, Vasco da Gama came to Calicut only. And we have a history of around, Calicut port have a history of around 1,000 years, which have a connection with our chairman of Aster Mims, Dr. Aster Mims. He belongs to a place called Nadirupa in Malappuram district, from where the Haridas of Samurians, later on come to Samurian, belongs to that place. They were the rulers of that place. From there they got shifted over to, they captured the Calicut region and developed these things. And nowadays we are going to Arab countries for the trade, but whereas 1,000 years ago, Malabar was the richest place in the country, and it was the meeting point of spice route from the Europe and Silk Road from the China. Calicut was once upon a time called the Emporium of India. If you want to know the historical importance is that, you know about one of the famous traveler, Ibn Battuta. He was the Delhi Sultan's ambassador to China. He came to Calicut to board ships to China. And when he visited Calicut, at that time there were around 13 ships alone for China alone. And there are around 500 ships anchored off Calicut. That much was the importance. A trader of Calicut almost used to speak around 14 languages. And there were traders from different 35 countries trading over that time. That much established was the Calicut trade system. The city is called City of Truth, City of Spices, because that itself reflects the culture and heritage of Kozhikode. You know, I would like to have 1 minute for that, because main traders from the Calicut were Omanis and Yemenis. They came to the west coast of India, and they were getting cheated everywhere. But when they came to Calicut Zamorians were well treated, and there were business deals, so there's a story also behind that. They had a good treatment. They are the persons who developed Calicut into international standards. And Calicut is very much famous for his history, heritage, food, sincerity, and communal harmony. That is the most important thing. If possible, we'll have a visit tomorrow to the SM Street. You can see the mosque, church, even the Parsis, temples, everything standing goes together. Every culture, community were trading and living together and enjoying. We were respect each other and live together and enjoy. That is the most speciality of Calicut. Calicut is very much famous for the Ayurveda, you know, the Kottakkal, one of the important places is nearby. Traditional treatment and Ayurveda is, Malabar is famous for the thing. Another thing is that here the modern medicine, treatment and surgeries are very expensive all around the world. Even olden days, we all used to go to Europe and United States and for the treatment. But the best place for, in a cheapest rate, is Malabar with one Calicut, with one of the best Ayurvedic as well as modern medical treatment. Malabar, Mims itself is one of the best destinations for the tourists to come for the health tourism concerned. And like other places of Kerala, Malabar's waterways tourism also have a very importance. It's not like other places which is very much connected with all the eastern parts. And there are a lot of traditional activities like Theyyam which can have more importance to attractive, which is very much different from the other parts of Kerala. With this limited time cutting short, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Good night.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I invite Dr. Pravita S. Anchan, AGM Operations, to give an introduction on medical tourism. Over to you, ma'am.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, a warm good evening to all of you. So in continuation to what Mubashir sir and Mr. K.M. Bashir sir and Captain Haridas has briefed us about the Malabar tourism, I would like to throw more light on medical tourism. So medical tourism is nothing but the cost-effective quality medical care in collaboration with the tourism industries for patients needing surgical as well as the medical care and other forms of treatment. The various spectrum of treatment which we can offer through Aster Kerala, we run the multi-organ transplant program, the surgical tourism, wellness tourism in association with various wellness centers, life-saving cancer treatment programs, joint replacement, dental tourism, weight loss, cardiology and cardiothoracic, plastic reconstructive as well as cosmetic surgeries, DBS, epilepsy surgery, and so on. To the help of Mr. David Boucher, we would like to extend to Western countries, Middle East, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and so on. These are the few cases which we have already done. One of the Pakistani resident, one from Bangladesh, Muscat, Saudi Arabia. We have a short video presenting it. Next. So why I prefer Aster for the medical tourism is basically because of the quality healthcare, the expertise what we have, the rich culture.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I am Major Syed Shafiqul Imdad from Bangladesh Army. I came from Dhaka, Bangladesh for my kidney transplant in Aster Mims Hospital, Calicut. This is the hospital where we get this service. This is not a business institute like other hospital in Bangladesh. This is one of the finest hospital in not only in Kerala, I think is in India or even in the world class it can be go. So thank you very much, sir, for your all the support, all cooperation.
معاكم محمد راشد بلوشي من سلطنة عمان من مسقط ولاية قريات بالتحديد. جينا إلى مستشفى أستر ميمس بتاريخ 17/11/2020. طبعا لتلقي العلاج في المستشفى بعد عدة فحوصاتنا في مستشفيات في عمان قررنا الحضور إلى مستشفى أستر ميمس.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm very well. I'm very successful. Inshallah, I hope I will remember for my life. Inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. احنا جينا من عمان ودلونا على هذا المستشفى. عندنا هذا الولد في خلع في الرجل اليمين، والحمد لله لقينا هنا ودلونا على هذا انه يعني عملياته ناجحة، ويعني دكاترة فيه ممتازين، وسوينا نية الحمد لله وعملنا العملية. الحين 5 أيام عندهم، ونشكرهم على حسن الاستقبال واجتهاد يعني، وكلهم طيبين ما شاء الله. كل طاقم المستشفى معانا، وقفوا معانا ما يحتاج ما شاء الله.
معكم منير كاظم المرهون. بعد معاناتي 5 أشهر من آلام الظهر قررت المجيء إلى الهند إلى منطقة كالكوت. كنت لا أستطيع الوقوف على رجلي ولا الجلوس زي ما أنا جالس أمامكم من كثرة الآلام.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا سالم الجعفري من سلطنة عمان. صار حادث على حفيدتي 15/7. دهس وتأثرت الرجل القدم اليمين في عند أبو علي، ثم حولناها إلى خولة. ظلت الخولة شهر. انصابت في القدم الأوردة والشرايين الأمامية. من ثم استشرفت أنا على أساس أن سفر بنتي إلى الهند إلى كيرلا كالكت مستشفى ميمس أستر ميمس. فالحمد لله رب العالمين.
Okay, my name is Alexander Jelu from Ghana. I was here 23rd December 1920, and unfortunately that I had an injury during my first game. I say that indeed the doctors here, the nurses, the department all have done extremely good work for bringing my fitness back. I really appreciate that one also. Out of that, they have been there for us. They are caring, love, showing, encouraging me to build back to my fitness, because sometimes when we are sick, you don't have somebody behind you to encourage you. You lost your hope, but they are there for me till today. I'm grateful that at last, finally, I'm back to my feet to live back to my career safely in the name of Jesus. I'm blessed. Thank you.
Happy to share the snapshots of the cases which we have successfully treated at Aster Mims. Way forward, looking to have a collaboration with the Medical Tourism Society, the Malabar developers and various other firms, and dream to be the most preferred destination for medical tourism. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Naushif, Senior Consultant, Department of Gastrosurgery and Liver Transplant, to give an introduction on medical tourism. Over to you, sir.
Dear dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues and all guests, very good evening to all of you. So I am not taking much time. We know the COVID pandemic has taken a major setback to two major sectors worldwide. One is the economy and second is the tourism. But another specialty has not taken a setback but has become more stronger. That is the medical sector. So we all belong to that. So what we know regarding the healthcare sector of Kerala, or rather in worldwide, if you see, the Kerala healthcare sector has excelled in many ways. Like, take it from the newborn sector to multi-organ transplants. We have our own landmark at all levels. So what we can make sure is the only way to rejuvenate the two other specialties, that is the economy as well as the tourism sectors, to club it with medical sector. So that is a way ahead to rejuvenate all the three sectors. So Kerala, if you see, we have our own cultural as well as medical excellences. So with these, we can definitely give, or we were giving previously also, we were giving good healthcare support to many other nations. So we can become a tourist hub again, or we can make it more stronger by attracting more and more patients from abroad and give them the best medical care along with good tourism. And this will always help all our sectors to bring up or moat ourselves. Now, someone is asking me, what is medical tourism? ആരോ എന്നോട് ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് നിൽക്കുമ്പോൾ ചോദിച്ചു, എന്താണ് മെഡിക്കൽ ടൂറിസം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ. നമുക്കറിയാം, നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ ഇന്ന് അവൈലബിൾ അല്ലാത്തൊരു ചികിത്സാ മേഖലയില്ല. എല്ലാ ചികിത്സാ മേഖലയിലും ഹൈ എൻഡ് കെയർ നമുക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. ചെറിയ കുട്ടികളുടെ ഇത് മുതൽ ഹൈ എൻഡ് ട്രാൻസ്പ്ലാന്റ്സ് മുതൽ ജിറിയാട്രിക് കെയർ, ഇപ്പോൾ ഈവൻ പോസ്റ്റ് കോവിഡ് റെജുവിനേഷൻ വരെ നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ഈ അവൈലബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫെസിലിറ്റീസ് ഇതൊന്നും അവൈലബിൾ അല്ലാത്ത നാടുകളിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കുക, അതുവഴി അവരുമായിട്ടുള്ള റിലേഷൻസ് ബിൽഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക, നമ്മുടെ ടൂറിസം മേഖലയെ സടകുടഞ്ഞ് എഴുന്നേൽപ്പിക്കുക എന്ന് തന്നെ പറയാം, നമ്മുടെ എക്കോണമിയെ വളർത്തുക. ഇതാണ് ഇതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ ഒരു മ്യൂച്വൽ ബെനിഫിറ്റാണ്, രണ്ടുപേർക്കും മ്യൂച്വൽ ബെനിഫിറ്റാണ്. വി ആർ ഗിവിങ് ആർ റിസോഴ്സസ്, ആർ ഫെസിലിറ്റീസ് ടു ദം, ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്സ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഗ്രോത്ത് ഫോർ ബോത്ത് ഓഫ് us. So anyway, I'm not dragging too much. Today we are in a very auspicious moment, and we have Mr. David Boucher here with us. So sir, thank you for being with us today, and with this I conclude my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Ms. Bindu Namishan, Head Service Excellence India, to give an introduction of our honorable chief guest. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello and namaskaram. So being a proud Malayali and an even prouder Malabari, it has been my privilege to unveil Kerala to David, one Aster hospital at a time. And it's an even bigger privilege and an honor to introduce David to all of you, and I'll start with the pronunciation of your name, David. It's David Boucher. It's like a Boocher. Just give me a minute, please. So, I mean, there's really lots to say. I seem to have missed. Yeah. So, David has worked in healthcare for over 40 years, and he's currently serving as the Chief of Service Excellence for Aster DM Healthcare across GCC as well as India. He is working with about 27 hospitals and helping us get on the service journey of service excellence. Prior to Aster, Mr. Boucher served for 2 years as the Chief Business Transformation Officer at the Bambangrad International Hospital, Bangkok, Thailand, undoubtedly and undisputably the #1 name in medical value tourism. Mr. Boucher previously served 18 years as the executive of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of South Carolina, and from 2006 to 2016, he also served as a president of Companion Global Healthcare Incorporated, the world's only medical tourism facilitator owned by a major health insurer. Mr. Boucher earned his BS degree from Slippery Rock University, Pennsylvania, and a master in public health degree from the University of South Carolina, and he has been named a distinguished alumnus by both institutions. David has been quoted in over 250 newspapers and journals, including the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, The Economist, US News, and World Reporters. He has been interviewed on NBC Nightly News and Fox Business News, and he has delivered lectures on disruptive innovation at the Harvard Medical School, the Harvard Business School, and the Yale School of Management. He is amply supported by his wonderful wife, Libby Heath, and personally, I've been working with him for almost a year and a half, and some of the qualities that immediately leap out at you when you start talking to the man is that he's a lighthouse and a fountainhead of knowledge, a highly collaborative professional who spends a significant amount of energy and time in building bridges between people. So you have the right person in the room today, of that I'm pretty sure. If he had any choice in the matter, he will be seen riding a Royal Enfield 650 Interceptor in his permanent home state of Florida. So there are many dimensions to this man, and I hope that you'll have the privilege to get to know him. David, I'm just so thrilled to be working with you.
Great, thank you, Bindu. I'm going to go off script a little bit. I just had a few notes written down. But since my name has been a little bit uncomfortable, I feel compelled somehow to add this. So back in 1995, I stayed in my first Ritz-Carlton hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. I was at an American College of Healthcare Executives conference, and you know, it was something on building construction hospitals or creating high-efficient teams. And I got up in the morning and I put a suit on, and many of the sessions started like 7:15, 7:30 in the morning. And I walked down the hall, and a housekeeper, so I was actually working in a hospital at the time in Vermont, in northern US. A housekeeper, very traditional, very common to a hospital, right? In a uniform with a cart. And I made eye contact with her, which I try to do a lot. And I said, "Good morning." And she said, "Good morning, Mr. Boucher. How did you sleep last night?" And I walked right by her, and I stopped. Because this has never happened to me before, right? That service. And I turned around and I stopped. I kind of laughed, like some of you are. And I said, "This is too much. What just happened?" I said this to this woman, minimum wage employee. And I said, "How did you know who I was?" She said, "Well, we're ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen, and you came out of suite, whatever, or room 804. And I'm responsible for these 5 rooms, and so everything else." I said, "Okay, but how did you know how to pronounce my name?" I was shocked, because it's difficult. Americans I'm a French verb, right? And she said, "Well, when you checked in last night, the registrar asked you to pronounce your name. And so if you look at my roster, it's printed BOO-SHAY, Boucher." And they add me at hello. I had an incredible experience at this hotel. I've actually sent my hospital teams there for training and everything else, because it really is truly over the top. Thank you for having me. I'm not going to talk a whole lot, but there are some, listening to the speakers, though I don't speak Malayalam yet, namaskaram, that's the first word that I learned. This truly is God's own country. And just a little bit of the background, I have 3 grown children. My middle daughter was a student at Emory University. And back in 2009, she spent the whole summer in Kerala. And that's when we learned about the literacy rate. Her roommate was from Kerala, from Kochi. And so she came for 3 months and worked in this state and everything else. My wife came and visited. And by that point, I had only been to Bombay and Mysore and Bangalore, maybe Calcutta, and on medical tourism business. And so she spent 3 weeks here and just really had a great time and just learned a lot and everything else. So I actually, in 2019, I spent 2 nights on the backwaters on a houseboat for Christmas in 2019. Posted a lot of great pictures on Facebook, and I had all my American friends were like, "Where are you?" But this is truly the most, if you've not done this, it's one of the most relaxing things truly that God ever created, because you have no Wi-Fi. You're in the middle of nowhere, right? So And interesting, Captain, the comments that you made. I'm right now reading, I'm about 150 pages into The History of the Silk Roads. It's a bestseller, printed in a number of countries. My wife's read it 2 times, and she says, you've got to read this book. So actually, Calicut is in the book, and there's a lot about the trade and religion and everything through the whole time. It's really, I've got another 350 pages to go, but excuse me, it really is pretty enlightening. So I've been involved in medical tourism since 1988. I'll tell you a real quick story. I was in the United States at the time, and in my hospital management career in the U.S., I was CEO of only small hospitals, 100 beds in northern New England. My first hospital, I was halfway between Montreal, Canada, and Boston, Massachusetts. So if you know on a map about that. And so a beautiful hospital, 100 beds, relatively new. We had only 7 inpatients the day I interviewed for a job there. And my wife thought I was insane. Why are you accepting this job? I said, well, there's only one way to go. This is God's country. That's what I called it. It's beautiful. It's just, trees and just beautiful surroundings and everything else. And we went through a process about 6 months, 8 months later. This is in 1986, with the medical staff and the board. And we said, what product can we create? What service can we create where people will drive for 2 or 3 hours to come? And so we developed and we opened an inpatient psychiatric and substance abuse treatment center. And within 18 months, we had 28 beds filled. We had a 3-month waiting list, and it was front page of the New York Times and everything else. And we hired the right staff and did the right things. And so we didn't call it medical tourism. We called it survival. We had an empty bed. We had bonds we had to pay. What are you going to do? Women are not going to drive mostly 3 hours, well, maybe here, but in the U.S., women are not going to drive 3 hours to have their babies. So, of course, the OBGYNs were like, oh, we have to have a regional. It's not going to happen. So we went through that whole vetting process and everything else. Never did I think that I was going to be involved in medical tourism later in life. And so as an individual, which is one of the reasons why I'm reading The Silk Roads, I'm really curious, and I'm curious most about commerce. I love how people make money and spend money, which is one of the reasons why Farhan and I have become close friends very quickly, right? Back in July of 2006, I began hearing about medical tourism. People, Americans and Canadians, going out of the country, having an incredible service experience with Joint Commission accredited hospitals. That's a known American brand, with board certified orthopedic surgeons and cardiologists, and great quality of care, absolutely over the top, for prices 80 to 90% less. Well, in America, we're brought up as children knowing the understanding that if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is, right? And so I decided to go. Long story short, I spent a whole week at Bumrungrad International in Bangkok, Thailand, in July of 2006, not as a patient, it was my personal vacation. I didn't go to a beach. I literally spent 5 days behind the scenes. I gowned up and went into 3 or 4 different surgical procedures and everything else. And I was blown away by the service that they provided. And that was about it. Went back to South Carolina, and our president and CEO chatted me up one day about a month later. He said, tell me about your holiday to Bangkok, thinking I was going to talk about beaches and brothels and other things, who knows. And I only talked about Bumrungrad, about this hospital, and about medical tourism and everything else. And I'll never forget this. He was reading an Economist magazine on a treadmill at the gym, and he never stopped walking. And he said, that's the next thing. We can offer medical tourism. We can help. This is real value that we can provide to our employers, right? So I want you to start a company for us. I'm working 60 hours a week already. I don't know when I'm going to get time to start a company. So I want you to start a company, get a network of about 30 hospitals in a number of countries, and we're going to start outsourcing hearts and hips, which we did. And we started a company called Companion Global Healthcare, as Bindu mentioned. The media went insane with it. We totally caught us off guard, and the rest is history, as they say at that point. But I learned a lot in that whole process, and so I traveled throughout India. I visited now hospitals in 42 countries, and so this is big business. Not just medical tourism, but some little things we need to remember, that most people who travel for medical care don't fly to Calicut alone. They don't fly to Kochi alone. They don't fly to Bangalore alone. They don't fly to Bangkok alone, right? Depending on the culture, Middle Easterners will bring on average 4 additional people with them. an American and a Canadian will bring 2 people. That means they're staying in hotels, they're eating in our restaurants, and they want to go on the backwaters. They want to do things that are available in our Malabar, in our whole region. And so, we need to make it really, really easy for them. So, as I enumerate, thinking about what I was going to say tonight, enumerate what some of the. This is my first time in Calicut. So I've been in Kerala now probably 6 times in my life, so I spend, as Bindu mentioned, half of my month I spend in Dubai, the other half I spend in Kochi. But I'm trying to work with Farhan and some of our other associates and get out around India. But I try to enumerate what are the benefits that we have in this region, right? So one of my favorite websites is a flight finder, basically. And so, I just wanted to know, we have nonstop flights coming into Calicut from 6 countries. Now, much of this you may know because we're in the tourism business. I didn't know that. That's pretty impressive. And admittedly, until last January, I had never heard of Calicut. Don't be offended. Remember, most Americans, 70% of Americans will never have a passport in their life. I'm pretty well traveled. But until I bumped into Aster DM Healthcare, it just wasn't, I knew where Kochi was, of course, and other parts of India, but, excuse me, I was not really familiar with this region. So that's one of the main benefits we have, right? We have flights from 6 other countries that fly nonstop here. I think the focus for us in medical tourism is to first focus on those 6 countries because it's very close. It's relatively close, right? And then if you look at countries like UAE and Qatar, we have between, 2/3 of the world's population is within an 8-hour flight of Dubai. I think that's incredible. I think it's an incredible statistic. So between Qatar Air and Emirates Air, there are, I think, close to flights almost every day to 20 U.S. cities. So this is pretty amazing. We're only 2 flights for any American or Canadian to get here, to get to Calicut. If you're a traveler in the room and you've driven long places and you've taken sometimes 40 hours to get to a location, having only 2 stops is a pretty nice advantage. So I think it's essential for us. Again, I'm staying in a hotel here in Calicut. It's very nice. The service has been really good, but providing over-the-top service in all of our restaurants and hotels and hospitals, regardless Aster or non-Aster, we need to. Service really is king. The consumer is expecting it. We need to be timely. I continue to let all my colleagues know that today we live in an Insta culture, right? There's some other old guys in the room too. I'm trying not to make eye contact, but I didn't grow up like this, right? I grew up, I didn't have, we played outside as kids and everything else, but today, the consumer expectation is they push a button. They send us an inquiry to Aster Mims Calicut about having a knee replacement or whatever. They expect a response in near time for something kind of, for most people, a relatively routine procedure. Really within 2 to 3 hours, they expect to have a response. So sense of urgency is really, really important. So I'm going to leave it there. I think that one of the ways I understand that we describe ourselves is way beyond, right? And I think our region can do whatever we want to do. We need to commit. We need to focus, and get it done. And again, thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey. I think, and I'm really interested to go to Aster Mims Calicut tomorrow. I spent some time in Kotakal today. I'll be in Kannur tomorrow night. No, Wednesday morning, sorry. And so we try to see as much of the region as possible and get around. So again, thank you very much for your time and attention. And I appreciate it. And let's do this together, right? Let's roll our sleeves up and make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And now we are moving on to the most important ceremony of this program, Brochure Release of Malabar Tourism Initiative. For that, I would like to invite Mr. David Boucher, Group Chief of Service Excellence, India and GCC, and Mr. Farhan Yasin, Regional Director, Aster Kerala Cluster and Oman. Please, sir. Requesting Mr. Farhan Yasin to hand over the brochure to David Boucher. Please put your hands together. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And now I would like to invite Hashir Ali TPM, convener Calicut Management Association, for the felicitation.
Chief Guest of the Day, David Boucher, Regional Director of Aster Mims, Farhan, dignitaries on and off the dais. Only 3 points I would like to share in the last time. First of all, utilize our own tourism minister, Riaz. He as well as Minister for Public Works Department also. Because all the infrastructure to be carried out by him only, Riaz. And also my neighbor, Ahmad Devar Kovil, is to Museum and Archives and Archaeology Minister. So, as far as Calicut Management Association is concerned, last month, we had conducted 2 workshops by calling all tour operators, homestay people, those who having the heritage building and all, we conducted a meeting, and recently we called a press conference also, and next month the final report will be presented to Tourism Minister, Mr. Riaz. And second point is, being an advisory board member of Calicut International Airport, you might be knowing in 2015, Calicut Airport is the 4th airport which has got highest passenger movement and also in the revenue. Just imagine. After that, privatization is coming. Cochin Airport privatized, a new airport came in Kannur. Trivandrum Airport again privatized. Why Calicut Airport is only under government? Because why I am saying no, the Asad movement is the driving force behind the Calicut Airport initially. Madak Society, you might be knowing Madak Society, the history of Calicut Airport. So, it's my, what I say is, MIMS should take the initiative to privatize Calicut Airport. At least reinstate Emirates flight. In that flight itself, once I saw the travel people is many other, Ali Kutika, all knows. Almost 70% of the passengers in the Emirates flights are Arabs. And 30% of the Arabs going in Kottakkal Ayurvedishala. It's another Ayurvedic, our potential, Ayurvedic medical tourism. That's all stopped. And third point I would like to share is, the tourists, domestic or foreign tourists coming in Kochi, we should attract them to Calicut, Malabar side. Most of them going, landing in Kochi and going Alleppey, and then Munnar. All domestic tourists or international tourists. We should bring them. We have to showcase our Calicut culinary, food, at least something we needed to market. So our tourism minister is going to open a new nightlife center in big bazaar and all food. I read yesterday in the newspapers. That's all. Thank you.
Sir, and now I would like to invite Mr. Abdul Sharif P. Basi, travel teacher.
Good evening, lovely people on the dais and off the dais. So happy to be here on this special occasion, and thanking my dear Mr. Farhan sir for the invite, for being a part of this great event. Being a travel teacher, from the entire career of myself, I loved being in Ethiopia due to a few reasons. The most important one among those was being a man among those people. The hospitality, the love, the care that they have provided to me was wonderful. Just like what I was being in my home. I had such a nice experience being in Ethiopia. So when we talk about the initiative of Malabar Tourism Initiative here in this special occasion, I'm thinking about the same. Being a foreigner, Mr. David for surely might have met so many people in his life in Kerala so far with the lovely hospitality of Keralites. I'm sure for that. And he was talking about his wife have been here for many times. So it's for sure the people in Kerala, people especially in Malabar area, might have treated him really, really well. And the second thing, when I talk about being a backpacker, when I set my backpack, I love to start from the top, from Kasaragod, and mingle with the people, mingle with the culture, and talk in different language in the same districts. And a little step down in Kannur, when I come back to Kannur, I love to talk about the history. I love to go through the history in Kannur, the palace, the fort, the beach and all. A little way down to Calicut, I love to spend some of my time by the beachside eating some food, delicious food, and mingle with the people here. And after that, I'll be setting my trip to the nature to Wayanad. So when you do an initiative, why not Malabar? Why not North Kerala? And he has already given the positive vibe. Let's do it together. That's a great word from you, sir. And thank you so much for being here. And I wish all the very great success to this function once again. Thanking you all for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Sharif P. Basi. And finally, I would like to invite Mr. Farhan Yasin, Regional Director, Aster Kerala Cluster and Oman. Please, sir.
I'd like to answer the question raised by Hashimka. Actually, under the leadership of great Chairman Dr. Azad, we had a discussion with Minister Riaz and Minister Ahmad Tevarkovil a week before, in the presence of Mr. Yusuf Ali, Chairman of Lulu Group, to empower and to drive the tourism in Malabar region. And this initiative started from that discussion. Actually, we had David Boucher in Cochin. So we had a discussion with him on how to rejuvenate Malabar. So the chairman has taken the initiative to get the connectivity in our airports, especially in Kannur and Calicut. So he has scheduled his discussions with central travel tourism ministers, and he has raised this concern to various forums, and I'm quite sure that with the help of those legendaries, we can get that done as soon as possible. പിന്നെ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാനുള്ളത് നമ്മളെപ്പോഴും നമ്മുടെ നാടിനെ പറ്റി പുകഴ്ത്തും നമ്മുടെ തമ്മിൽ എങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ മറ്റുള്ളവരിൽ അത് എത്തിക്കുമെന്ന് നമ്മൾ ചിന്തിക്കാറില്ല. We know how to promote ourselves and between us, but we don't know how to promote ourselves to other countries. And I am confident that with the help of dignitary like David Boucher, we can conduct road shows, we can conduct various programs, we can have write-ups regarding the small part of Kerala, North Kerala, where there are a lot of things to express, there are a lot of things to write, a lot of things that other world should know, right from the history to the present where we are. So I should take this initiative. Aster Mims will be taking this initiative with the help of all Malabarians. എല്ലാ മലബാറുകാരുമായിട്ട് ചേർന്ന് നമ്മളും നിങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ആശുപത്രിക്ക് വേണ്ടി മാത്രമല്ല, we will be having a entire healthcare industry, നമ്മുടെ അസോസിയേഷൻ ഓഫ് ഹെൽത്ത് കെയർ പ്രൊവൈഡേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ, കേരള പ്രൈവറ്റ് ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽസ് അസോസിയേഷൻ, അതേപോലെ കേരളത്തിലുടനീളമുള്ള എല്ലാ ആശുപത്രികളും ഒരുമിച്ച് നിന്ന്, അത് ആയുർവേദമാവട്ടെ അലോപ്പതി ആവട്ടെ, അതേപോലെ ട്രാവൽ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയും കൂടെ ചേർന്ന് ഒരു ഫോറം ഉണ്ടാക്കി നമ്മുടെ മിനിസ്റ്റർ റിയാസിനോട് നമ്മൾ ചർച്ച ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് ഈ കാര്യം. അതിൻ്റെ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചറും ഈ ഫോറം വഹിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വിദേശ രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ പോയിട്ട് റോഡ് ഷോസ് കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യുകയും നമ്മൾ നോർത്ത് കേരളയെ തന്നെ മാർക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു അംബാസഡേഴ്സായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ മാറ്റുകയും അവിടുത്തെ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് നമ്മൾ എടുക്കുകയും അവരിൽ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വിളിച്ചു വരുത്തുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നൊരു സിസ്റ്റം നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങാൻ പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. വരും മാസങ്ങളിൽ വിൽ ബി സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് ദാറ്റ്. ഇത്രയേ എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷേ ഇതൊരു ചർച്ചയിൽ മാത്രം നിന്നു പോകാനല്ല, നമ്മൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് പ്രവർത്തിക്കണം. നമുക്ക് ഈ കോവിഡ് നമ്മളെ ഒരുപാട് പാഠങ്ങൾ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. കുറേ സാമ്പത്തിക മാന്ദ്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലേക്ക് എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതിൽ നിന്നൊക്കെ പുനർജീവിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഇത് മാത്രമാണ് നമ്മുടെ മുന്നിലുള്ള വഴി. വിദേശികളെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരിക, നല്ല ചികിത്സ കൊടുക്കാൻ ആശുപത്രികളുണ്ട്, അവർക്ക് ഒരു ക്വാളിറ്റി ടൂറിസം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ റെസ്പോൺസിബിൾ ടൂറിസം നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കാൻ ബാധ്യസ്ഥരാണ്. അതിലൂടെ നമ്മുടെ എക്കണോമിനെ പുനർജീവിപ്പിച്ചെടുക്കുക. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.
താങ്ക് യു സോ മച്ച് മിസ്റ്റർ ഫർഹാൻ യാസിൻ. ഫർഹാൻ സാർ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ മലബാറുകാരെ കുറിച്ച് പറയേണ്ടത് മലബാറുകാരുടെ ഇടയിലല്ല, മലബാറിന് പുറത്താണ്. അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ ആവട്ടെ. ആൻഡ് ഫൈനലി I would like to invite Dr. Naufal Bashir, Deputy CMS and Senior Consultant Neurosurgery, for the vote of thanks.
Well, respected persons on the dais and off the dais. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having invited me for this. I have been associated, in fact, I am a child neurologist with parallel interests in hospitality. We run a wellness center in Calicut for the last 17, 18 years. And we have dealt with mostly inbound clientele, mostly from Europe, as well as America, as well as Australia. And the COVID pandemic has really destroyed that inbound traffic to our place. And I fully agree that Malabar has a lot of potential, both for wellness and also as a cultural hub. And I strongly would support any move to focus Malabar as a destination, not just for wellness, but for its culture, for its cuisine, and for its very this distinctive tourism attractions. My best wishes for the whole endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman of this meeting, Mr. Farhan Yasin, Chief Guest of the day, Mr. David, and other dignitaries on the dais of the dais, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all. We have discussed all aspects of Kerala, especially the North Kerala, Malabar. Sir, we have good beaches, we have virgin villages, we have mountains, we have rivers, we have high ranges, everything we have. We have even airports. But we have some problems as well. To solve the problems, all the associations present here, Malabar Development Forum, Malabar Tourist Society, Calicut Management Association, we will sit together and find some problem solutions. My suggestion is a master plan for Malabar will do. It will solve all the problems, I think so. A master plan by an international agency. This thing we should take up with the minister as well. I think that's a solution for all the problems. We have everything else. So, sir, we believe in Aditi Devo Bhava. That means guest is the God. That's the belief we believe. So we have everything. So we will make the problem as well. So I request all the association, all the present here to sit together and put forward the solution to the concerned people. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I have only one point to mention, especially for the attention of Mr. David, that you might not have noticed that Calicut city is the only city in India 100% women safe. Women are 100% safe in this city, so that all the women all over the world, they can come for either medical treatment or for enjoyment or to spend their vacation happily. You also can, when you talk to people, you can specially mention this, because I'm 74 years old. This is my experience. One example I tell you, especially in the road transport bus, this is the only city, men wait ladies to enter the bus, and after all the ladies enter the bus, men start entering the bus. This is the only city in India, probably all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to invite Dr. Naufal Bashir, Deputy CMS, Senior Consultant, Neurosurgery, for the vote of thanks.
Respected Chief Guest, Mr. David, President of Malabar Tourism Society, Mr. Boucher, Vice President Captain Haridas, our beloved CEO Farhan Yasin, and all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this event a success. On behalf of Aster Mims Calicut, I extend a really hearty gratitude to our Chief Guest, Mr. David, for sparing his time to spend some time with us, and also for your views and your thoughts which will surely encourage all of us and the Malabar region. A special thanks to Mr. Boucher and Captain Haridas for your presence and your wise words. I also would like to express my gratitude to all the speakers, Bashir Ka, then Dr. Pravita, Dr. Naushif, Ms. Bindu Nambishan, Mr. Abdul Sharif P. Basi, Hashim Ali, Ali Kuti Sahib, and all. Also, my sincere thanks to all of you who graced this occasion. Thank you for your support. Sincere appreciation to Manu and Meda, who conducted this event really well. Also, Siju, Arun, and all the relations team who worked so hard for this event. Thank you very much.